And now, my friend, the time has come to face your fears. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I had a great question recently about how you deal with fear when it comes to your movement practice. So today, I thought we'd come down to the sports fields and we'd try some things that frighten me, and I'll show you how I go about dealing with, managing, and working through fear. Oh, the nervous wee, one of the best ways to deal with fear. Take a wee. Wardrobe. You think it's a good idea to show up and face fear looking like Peter Pan? I didn't think so. Leopard print shorts so I can move like a jungle cat out here. Bucket hat protects me from the sun. Gangster sunnies, because I'm a movement gangster ready to face my fear. The 4 exercises I will be sharing with you that I've struggled with a lot with fear are the Macaco or the monkey flip, the backflip, the gumby, and the bee twist, all for different reasons. Let's get into it. Seriously though, what are we actually afraid of? Well, one, it's getting injured. So just a good warm-up is always a good idea, whether it's just some light jogging, some lunging, some jumping. Just get yourself warm. If I'm doing any kind of acrobatics or locomotion, I'll always warm up my spine and also my wrists with these sorts of things, arching movements, step overs, just getting the wrists warmed, maybe some spinal stuff. You can do some cat-cow, even your classic yoga, downward facing dogs. Just get everything warmed up before we get into the work. First things first, start in a low squat. We want to turn the outside fingers around the corner, and you can start by just walking it around, finishing in squat in the same direction. From here, we want to add maybe a quarter of a turn. Plant the hand, quarter of a turn. From here, we can start to extend more aggressively through the hips and at the same time throw the spare arm up, and we'll try to get to that 3/4 point. And I'm almost back facing the way I want to go. Let's see if we can give it more power, more oomph, and go over backwards. Like so. I'm still hinging through the hips at this point. Now what I can do is start to extend through the legs, try to get that other hand to touch down, and see if we can get a stronger archy type look to it. Like so. You've got the option to land on 2 feet, or you could do a 1-footed staggered exit. Like so. So you can see how easy this one is to build up very quickly. With the Macaco, a lot like when you're first learning a lot of acrobatic flips, it's better to have more power than not enough. So really give it some juice at first, and then over time, as you understand the pattern better, you can start to slow it down. When you're doing the Macaco, where you throw this throwing arm will determine your line of travel. So in the beginning, you want to throw it around the corner so that you go around the corner. As you build up more confidence and you want to invert and go more backwards, you need to throw it over the same shoulder. And you start to go a little bit more over the top. Like so. The backflip. Now, for a lot of recreational weekend warriors like myself, this is the holy grail of athletic ability. If you're still pulling this out in your mid-40s and you can learn this as an adult, then you're doing very well for yourself. Now, it's terrifying. Why? Because you completely lose sight of the ground and it feels like you could probably break your neck. So, how do we not break our necks? Let's take a look. The first thing we need to establish for our back flip is a nice strong jump. So using the hands, can you get yourself nice and high? Spot something in the distance forward and just practice getting a strong jump. Now, despite what you think, Whether or not you can spin around in a backflip isn't determined by the height of your tuck. I've seen people with really small jumps, but they can spin quite quickly, which leads us into element number 2. So your ability to bring your knees up to your chest really quickly and hold your knees will determine how fast you spin. The quicker you can do this, the faster you will turn. Also think about getting the knees nice and wide. The wider you make your knees, the more compact you can make your body in space. If you don't have a spotter or anyone to help you or some crash mats, then it's a good idea to start with our macaco, but we want to try and focus on getting the hand off the ground nice and quick to mimic what it will be like for us to do our back tuck. So I can start with my macaco, and I can start to bring in a bit of a flip off of the macaco. See that? I'm really lifting my hand off to get the idea of floating through space. From here, you can build off that into a really ugly handspring looking thing where we start to just set ourselves up and we go around the side. I'll do one from the back so you can see what it's like. Nice and ugly. So I'm going to load up and we go around to the side. We can just keep building on this so that I'm not getting the hands down as soon. They're staying up in the air for a little longer. And I'm getting this really ugly kind of froggy flip. Like so. Now every gymnastics teacher, coach in the world is having a heart attack looking at this tutorial because it's not how they would teach you in a classic gymnasium where you've got spotters and crash pads and all the safety gears. So if you can get to one of those facilities and have access to a teacher, that is the way to go. If not, and you're like me trying to figure it out, you can do it. So you want to think about straightening up that wonky back handspring. So let's look at a backwards roll where we start to think about going straight over our head. I've lost my microphone. This will get the idea of straightening things up. Now we've got to combine the two. At this point, you could find something soft, a mattress, some sand, or you could try it off into some water or something like that. Otherwise, it's time to combine the two. I like to warm up with a nice strong jump. And then it's time to go for it. And you have a back tuck. Okay, I've just been given my marching orders off this field. They're mowing, so let's change fields. Okay, finding a new field. Well, we do a bit on fear because I guess it gets demonized as a really bad thing, but it's a healthy thing. You know, you should be afraid of hurting yourself. It's there to protect you, so we must respect it and then just go about dismantling it, addressing it, and making it so that your limiting beliefs, what you thought was possible, becomes possible. And we do that using, exposure to the risk, little bit by little bit, build you up without having any catastrophes. That's what we want to avoid. No catastrophes, please. Here's our new spot, nice and green, nice and lush. Let's do another backflip. So my goal is to try and get my chest nice and high, keep my arms in full extension at the top, then bring them down to catch my knees. I'm going to try and spot forward as best I can. I'll do a practice jump. Here we go. Oh, okay. Still a bit shallow. I think I untucked a little early, probably didn't extend fully in my top position, but we'll keep at it. The Gumbi. The Gumbi is an inverted cartwheel that feels very unnatural because you're inverting, turning inward on your own shoulder. There's an arch to it, and I've just really found it frightening and scary, so let's break it down. The first thing we want to warm up is just a plain old garden variety cartwheel. Thinking of traveling on one straight line. Now, to get our head around the Gumbi, we need to think of two lines instead of just that one center line for our normal garden variety cartwheel. Oh, we have police. They've found out about me. No. As I was saying, we need to think about two lines. So my setup for my Gumbi is this staggered start. You need to think about a direction to travel. I'm going to be demonstrating off of my right arm is the leading hand. So what I'll do is I'll think about 2 lines, and then the first task is to draw that front leg back at the same time moving the front hand forwards, making contact, and I'm going to try and turn that into a bit of an ugly cartwheel. So, like so. I'm still kind of traveling down the center line for now, but I just want you to get that feeling of getting that front leg sweeping back as you send the front leg forward. It's actually that leg drive that will give you the momentum to start turning it into a gumby. A lot of people teach the gumby using a gymnastics bridge. The only problem is if your gymnastics bridge sucks like mine, then it's just not a very useful progression. I must be getting old because, yes, I've done it. I now wear Crocs. That's my first, was it giblet? Giblet, is that what you call them? The kids bought it for me. I'm going to use these Crocs to help demonstrate the hand positioning. So I've got a staggered diagonal hand position here. My front foot will be near this Croc. I'm going to try and get my hand, my lead hand, somewhere near that Croc, and then my second hand is going to stagger across over to this Croc here. So, see what happened there? And now I'm going to try and invert and get more arch through the spine. And you can probably start to see the Gumby shape starting to happen. Okay, these Crocs are actually kind of a bit of an obstruction. Something flat would be better, like 2 stickers or something really flat that's not going to impede your movement. Now, basically, what we need to do is try to get deeper with that front arm and then keep that back sweeping leg nice and strong to create the momentum. And we start to get more of an arch through the spine, which creates the effect. Like so, from the side. Pushing through that shoulder, trying to get a nice strong arch as best we can. One more. Oh, that wasn't a strong push, but you get the idea. The really bendy guys that can make this one look really cool tend to have the legs hanging out more horizontal. To get to that point, you kind of need to go deeper with that first hand. Oh, push strong through the shoulder. And see if we can float the legs wider. Oh, and if you start to have a fall, that's all part of it too. Lastly, we have the B twist. Now this one freaked me out big time. Learning it because 1, I'd never done any twisting before, and 2, I'd certainly never done any twisting while flying forward. So let's break it down. So you'll need to choose a direction to twist. I twist over my left shoulder. So let's see if you can do a 360. If you can do that, you can do a B twist. So the next thing I learnt for my B twist is this pendulum leap using my torso. So it looks like that. So it starts looking the opposite way I'm traveling, comes down low, sweeps through, and then I'm going to have a jump forwards. So from side on, I'm going to pendulum down, and my back leg, I'm going to use that glute to kick it. And it's actually my torso that generates the uplift. So what will help spin you with your spins are your arms. If you suck them in, like so, you will spin faster. If they stay out wide, slower. So I'm looking for that 1 fist in front, 1 fist behind to create power, baby. The extra power into our B twist, I want to take 1 step, 2 step, then I do my pendulum launch. So 2-step entry, we go 1, 2, whoosh. You might have started to detect a little hop on that last step. That will help with even more power. So step, step, hop, oof. And we're almost ready to add our twist. The great thing about the B twist is I would argue it's easier to learn than the backflip because you can start vertical and then slowly bend it over time. So we'll do one nice and slow with a vertical jump. So we'll do our 2-step, 1, 2, and we land. Let's go again. 1, 2, and we land. Now let's see if we can bend it over. Here we go. Oh, did you see that? Was it a bit more horizontal? Let's do. And I've lost the mic. There you are. Okay, was that a bit better? Well, that looked a bit better. Okay, that is it for today's video. Fear. Respect it, work with it, make it your friend, invite it in for a warm cup of tea, and then use exposure therapy to your advantage. Little bit by little bit, build up your confidence, rewire those belief systems. You can do it. It's just a matter of time. I will get it. Please don't say, I can't. I can't stand that. Oh gosh, I just did it. It's a double entendre paradox. Don't use that word can't. Okay? You say, I can. It's just a matter of time. I will get it. Okay, that's it from me today. Please subscribe. Please drop me a comment, like, and if you want to learn more about locomotion, I just upgraded my locomotion flow course 3.0. There's a few of these pieces in that, plus a lot more ground flow movement stuff. So check that out as well. Link down below. See you in the next video.